Bet Online is your #1 source for all your summer sports this season, from the MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoff stats. All the latest stats, news, and scores available from your favorite teams. Get all the latest odds, lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get into the action. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, man. What's happening, man? Let's get it popping in the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam, man. I'm up in this thing. Saturday Night Saints Talk. I'm not going to keep you guys very long on tonight's stream. Boy, I'll tell y'all in trouble if I'm a Baptist minister on Saturday. I'll tell you what, man. That's right. Don't keep us long. You already know how I'm going, brother. I promise y'all, I'm not going to try to keep y'all long tonight. It's Saturday, eventful Saturday, man. And listen, watched a very excellent boxing match, man. I ain't going to lie to you, man. It was absolutely phenomenal watching the Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk matchup. If you guys didn't get a chance to catch that, man, it was absolutely phenomenal. It was awesome. And Usyk was able to get a split decision over Tyson Fury. And it was pretty cool, man, watching that happen, because we witnessed something that we didn't see in a very long time, man, which is pretty much the heavyweight division undisputed unified champion. That's the first time that one heavyweight has held all belts since Lennox Lewis did it like 20 years ago. So it's not an often thing that you would see that, like when you talk about boxing, the king of all fighters is the heavyweight champion. That's how it seemed. It's how it goes, the traditional thought process. So we watched a coronation of sorts, if you've seen the fight, as Usyk defeated Tyson Fury by a split decision. It was a good fight, too, because early on, Tyson had him, and then he was playing around. He was a little too much play. You got to take care, but you can't play around with a fighter like Alexander Usyk. That's the whole thing, is they've been underestimating this guy for his whole damn career. And Tyson Fury paid a heavy price. And I was watching the press conference, and they sitting up here congratulating. And I don't congratulate that guy, man. He played around and did this finesse thing all that in front of the man. The man beat his ass and won it. He stopped playing around in the ring and handle business like he's supposed to. Well, it cost him. He got his first loss tonight, and they're supposed to do they're supposed to go back at it again in October, middle October sometime. They're saying the 12th or the 13th of October. We'll see how it goes, but it's going to be the same thing. This guy's good. He beat Anthony Joshua. He beats all the people you put in front of him because he's very skilled. And you can't play around with him and do all this kind of finesse game. You're going to get your ass beat. So he lost tonight, and let him stop playing around next time. Don't play. There's some people in this world you don't play with. And he's not one of them guys you play with. But anyway, shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all being in the stream, man. Me and my son watched that one, man. It was a good fight. But I wanted to kind of switch gears. We're going to talk some footballs, black and gold football tonight. And I don't know if you guys caught this one, and I had a chance. This came across my timeline a couple of days ago, and I forgot to cover it on the show. I was supposed to cover it on the show, and it just got sidetracked. But it's pertaining to John Gruden. We know that the Saints particularly have a spot for John Gruden once everything goes the way it's supposed to go. And right now we knew that he was supposed to go to court and have a decision on what was supposed to happen going forward. So this is pretty much what happened in terms of his court ruling that, of course, former NFL head coach John Gruden loses his Nevada High Court ruling in the emails lawsuit. So what does it mean? It pretty much means what it means, where the judges ruled that the arbitration that he didn't want it to go into arbitration. He wanted to stay in open court. They ruled that it should go into arbitration. NFL has a powerful lobby. They do. They're worth billions and billions of dollars, and they use that billions of dollars. Like they had this guy up in Mandeville who had a lawsuit against the Saints, I think it was. He had a lawsuit against the Saints a couple of years back. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all remember that. He was suing them about what happened with the NFC. It was something pertaining to the non-call or something like that happened with the Saints. And they had a bunch of lawsuits. Everybody's stuff got shut down, but his didn't. His lawsuit didn't get shut down because it was under a certain amount. And it was actually had some steam to go, and he pulled it down. And he said it'll be a distraction on the team, which is stupid. If you're distracted by a lawsuit, you're not a professional. They got stuff going on a lot more difficult in life than a lawsuit. And your little piddling ass lawsuit wouldn't have distracted anybody. It was just a bull crap excuse for him to pull it down. He probably was paid to do it. But the NFL wins again in this regard, because what it does is it says that it votes that it should go into arbitration. Well, who's the king arbiter in the email ruling? It is the man that he's accusing responsible for leaking these emails. And it's very commonsensical when you go over the documents. It shows exactly that, it basically rolls out that it was a handful of people that picked through thousands of emails, picked his emails out, and they wanted to get rid of him, and they demonized him. They got his ass out of there. And they were pretty much, and there was investigations that pretty much did it. But the NFL wins this one because they vote for it to go to arbitration, and the arbitrator is Roger Goodell, and he will not rule against himself. He will not rule himself guilty of leaking the emails. So, but John Gruden says he's going to still try to fight this thing. Let's delve into this article right here. Former NFL coach Gruden lost a Nevada Supreme Court ruling Tuesday in contract interference and conspiracy lawsuit he filed against the league after he resigned from the Raiders in 21. But it said he will appeal. His lawyers say he will appeal this decision, but it's not over. So the 3-justice panel split 2-1, saying the league can force the civil case out of state court and into private arbitration. That might be overseen by Goodell. And Goodell is the dude that he's saying did it. It's just, it's just these people are amazing. Gruden's attorney, Adam Hosmer-Hainer, said he will appeal to a full 7-member state high court to hear the case. The panel split decision would leave Nevada an outlier, where an employer can unilaterally determine whether an employee's dispute must go to arbitration and also allow the employer to adjudicate the dispute as the arbiter. The attorney said. Attorney Cannon Shanmugam, I hope I said that right, representing the NFL, declined to comment on the ruling, of course. Gruden's lawsuit filed in November of 21 alleges the league forced him into resigning from the Raiders by leaking racist, sexist, and homophobic emails, and that sent many years earlier when he was at ESPN. The panel majority, Justice whatever and Christine Pickering, said Gruden expressly acknowledged in his contract with the Raiders that he understood the NFL Constitution allowed for arbitration to resolve disputes. So they saying contract that he signed says that, hey, guess what, player? You signed this, and you have to understand that by that right, any disputes or whatnot has to go to arbitration. See, the NFL has had this to happen before. Well, it gets sued all the time, and it's lawyers that run the thing. It's the same with the NBA. They're attorneys and lawyers. A lot of time, the elected officials, most of them goes. You got some doctors, but a lot of attorneys and lawyers, and they understand legalese, they understand contracts and all this kind of stuff, non-disclosure agreements, all this kind of nonsense that's going on nowadays. But they understand what's going on, and they know how to end all around it. Plus, they have a NFL has power politically, and they can be able to make things shake if they need to. They can pull strings if they need to, and this is pretty much protecting themselves. As Gruden says, I don't like it, but arbitration will protect the NFL and John Gruden. I mean, not John Gruden, the other guy, the jackass. What's his name? Goodell, the scumbag. They'll protect him. But anyway, that's a bit of news right there. He appealing the decision, and it's the latest on this case. And why is this prevalent to the Who Dat Nation? Because we know once his legal matters are over with, we know that the Saints are interested in bringing Gruden on as an advisor because Derek Carr wants him, and we know there'll be probably like a little special seat there that they'll bring him on to the team eventually. So that's how it is. Okay, so anyway, Gundam says, Q, are you hesitant about the Rattler potential as a franchise QB for future fam? No, I'm not hesitant about him. I think he's right where he's supposed to be. I think he'll be all right. Being picked in the middle of 15 picks into the 5th round will make him play with a chip on his shoulder. He'll play with a chip on his shoulder, and I think that's good. I think that is good. I think he will probably be. He has the potential to be, and it's not really saying much, but this one, I mean, how many quarterbacks the Saints actually drafted that really did anything outside? I mean, when the last guy we drafted did anything for us that represented and it really took the team and they won games? And I can't think of one except for you have to go all the way back in the day to Archie Manning. The last time the Saints drafted a quarterback that actually meant something. Most of the time in recent memory, you think back some of the quarterbacks the Saints have drafted, like Ian Book and Sean Canfield, and I think didn't they get Mark Bulger? And he didn't do nothing for us, but he did for the Rams. He went up there and helped the Rams win. So I mean, there were quite a few quarterbacks the Saints drafted, but they never turned into nothing. The Saints didn't develop the QBs into nothing. I mean, even if you talk about Chase Daniels, he wasn't somebody they drafted. He was an undrafted guy that they signed here. So I mean, when is the last time we've seen the Saints draft a quarterback and he turned into a franchise thing? Because that's not a point of emphasis for the team. They always look for veterans or something like that. They're going to free agency and see if they can find a veteran that fit what they need to do, because they don't develop the quarterback well here. Think about it. But I do think Spencer Rattler has a unique tool set in terms of what he can do, and I think he's intelligent, and I think over time he could be somebody that can turn into something if you develop him just like anybody else, All right, shout out to the fam, man. Thank y'all for being here. Much love to the fam. Appreciate everybody, man. Appreciate all of you guys for being in the building, man. Y'all do me a service and hit that like button. Yeah, you're right. Randy said, yeah, they gave Tyson Fury 5 extra seconds. Same thing they did in the Deontay Wilder fight. Tyson Fury messed himself up. Don't play. Some people you don't play with, man. Stop playing, man. Take care of business. You don't play against a fighter like Alexander Usyk. You don't play with the guy. You get in there and get him up out of there. Don't play with him. He was in that plan and putting his arms behind his back and leaning on the ropes like Muhammad Ali, dude. You're not Muhammad Ali, brother. You're not Muhammad Ali. Cut it out. And the dude beat his ass in good form. Next time around, he won't be playing no games like that. He'll take that man seriously. All right, so anyway, let's move into the next one, fam. We're going to cover this, man. This is a interview right here from NFL.com with Cam was on there, man. And I think it's the last meeting that they did with Cam because I think they're supposed to be shutting down Total Access, the show from the NFL. They about to shut it down and do something else. TNT's doing the same thing with Inside, with Barkley and all those guys. They've been on TV for a very long time. And eventually, that gets old. And they had a nice little run, but its time is up. So anyway, we're going to listen to this by Cam. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear this, what Cam was saying about stuff for New Orleans. It was just really interesting and fun. Cam, boy, that dude, there's something else. But y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear it.
Talk to us about NFL rivals and what you're doing.
Do we have NFL rivals?
Yeah.
There's the Saints and everybody else. What do you mean? Whoa.
Fair enough.
Okay, they say maybe when me and Steve were playing,
Okay.
it was Carolina, it was Steve versus our DBs. But it wasn't Carolina versus us. We're better.
You posted your Senior Bowl picture not that long ago. You look the same. Exactly the same. Same haircut now, too.
I might be a little skinnier. Back then I was running out of 3-4 defensive end spot, so I was probably like 290-ish. Now I'm like 10 pounds lighter. I might be a little faster than I was back in the day.
With Cam Jordan, you never know what you're going to get. Probably some viral soundbite, but he was drafted by the Saints and been riding with them ever since. He's the team's all-time franchise sack leader. He's also an all-pro defensive end. Cam, welcome in as we celebrate Total Access. You've obviously been a part of the show over the years. It's really special to have you with us as we wave goodbye.
Man, a goodbye sounds so final. Like that sort of hurts. I mean, I feel like I grew up on the show. I sort of did. I was in my 20s. First time I was on it. Now I'm in my 30s. Okay, yeah, I did.
Yeah, Cam. Well, first of all, thank you for being here, man. But you got a new teammate in Chase Young, man. Just talk about how he's fit into that locker room and what it's going to be like having another first rounder on the other side of you.
Another one. I mean, I think Chase Young is going to be great for our defense. We already got Carl Granderson, who's stellar this last couple of years. I think with growth, him being on the opposite side, when he gets right, help physically, he's going to be another piece that we can add on. At some point in my mind, I'm spinning like it's got to be me, Chase, and Carl Granderson on the field at the same time on a crucial third down. And I'm probably going to have to go in the middle. I don't care. Whatever that takes. I mean, like, I'll line up. I'll be that Zadarius Smith over the middle, roaming, trying to get active. I think it just adds another weapon to our defense.
I think Cam is right. We kind of said that too as they brought Chase Young in. Chase Young is obviously going to be the guy once healthy, starting next to on the other side of Carl Granderson. Granderson is no longer the complement, the third defensive end. He got the big contract. He'll be the starter, and Chase Young is not a complimentary guy they're bringing in to bring off the bench for Cam. They want Chase to be the starter, and Cam comes off the bench. So. That and Cam kicking inside, it would be a good move, and I think probably at this stage of his career, probably be one of the best bets. And it also hedges, putting him in a rotation with other guys, man, kind of keeps him fresh as well. And I don't think the Saints overused Cam over years. Remember, you can go back 3 to 4 to 5 years when they had Cam on rep counts. Y'all remember that? Where he would complain about that. It's like, man, let me go. Let me play such and such, such and such. And he would complain about that. So they didn't overuse and abuse Cam Jordan over the years. They really didn't, to be honest with you. So this should help Cam, even though I can understand at this stage he wants to mash out. But after that tough year last year, I guess he can't argue too much about, what's going on here.
Well, speaking of that defensive front and you guys getting after some quarterbacks, there's a new quarterback to sack in the division. Congratulations, Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. You now have to face this guy amongst Chase Young and some others on that team. You ready to give him the Matt Ryan treatment? You're going after him day one?
Yeah, I think I've sacked him at his two previous teams. I'm pretty sure I sacked him when he was at Washington. I for sure know I sacked him at the Vikings. So, I mean, new quarterback. Maybe the newest quarterback will be somewhere in the season they add in a Mike Penix Jr. I don't know their situation where you spend a top 10 draft pick on a quarterback. I don't know what you do with there. Am I just going to add fuel to the flames? Why not?
Oh, see, that's the viral soundbite. That's the viral soundbite I was talking about. Are you saying some quarterback controversy down the line in Atlanta? We'll have to check in midseason on that one. But NFL teams got their schedules on Wednesday, and you took to social media because you were not too happy with the powers that be because you have 2 cold games towards the end of the season.
You need to stop.
Versus the Packers
really
and Giants. You've been playing for 14. You're entering your 14th season. Come on now. Cold game is fine.
Yeah, you know what? And it took me 12 years. It took me 12 years to play my first snow game.
Oh.
And after playing the snow game, I was like, you know what? This is as advertised. This is trash. Like cold games, they're not cool. Like for the fans, for the game, I want to see your best 11 versus my best 11. And you know what we're not at? We're not at our best when it's -20. They went over the intercoms. It was like, hey, everybody come down to the lower bowl for warmth, for body warmth. And I'm like, wait, people are dying? People are freezing? I shouldn't be here. It inspired me mid-game to like pack up the fam, go to Spain in the offseason.
Stop it, man.
I was mentally scarred.
Man, come on.
Now we got the Chiefs late. We got Green Bay late, and we got the Giants late. What are we doing?
You finish in Tampa and Florida. You'll be fine.
Exactly, man. A defensive lineman talking about weather. Come on, man. You better than that, Cam. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. Talking about that schedule, you do got your former head coach coming into the stadium week 7. Talk about that game against Sean Payton.
It's not, it's not like I got it circled already. October 17th is Thursday night game on Prime Video or whatever. But like, I don't really know the exactly what's going to happen. I figure the Saints are going to go marching into the dome and get a W. But like that's what I expect every week. So if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be surprised. And when it does happen, I'm going to be as advertised. I assume that we are fighting, grinding, lifting weights, running with each other, building camaraderie now with the team to be the best version of the team we can be come September. So by the time we even get to October, we're going to be rolling.
Oh, so you're good. No worries as Sean Payton marches back into New Orleans after all those years coaching you up. Cam, as always, it's so fun. You always give us a smile and a laugh. Thank you for joining us here on Total Access Now.
That's Cam, man. Always find a little entertainment, man. Shout out to Cam Jordan, man. Yeah, I know the Saints are going to be motivated to beat Sean Payton, man. I think that's the game they got circled. The Raiders game is another game. But like I said, when I did the schedule breakdown show a day or so ago, I went over it. I started the show by saying it's 2 different views I'm looking at. One view is I'm looking at it as, let's say the Saints solved the biggest issues that they had last year, the lack of leadership, the accountability issues on offense, right? Let's say that Clint Kubiak lives up to expectation and he does what he's supposed to do. He's not 100% perfect, but he does enough to get the offense going. That's how I did my first count. And then I came back around and said, after I did the first prediction, I think it was 10 wins. I said, if they do what they're supposed to do, they should be able to get 10 wins. And then the out of code or the off code, if they can't fix the issues, I'm looking at 6 to 7 wins. So it dropped by a couple of wins there. But there are some wins in the schedule that if the Saints handle their business, they should be able to get. But like that Sean Payton game where he's coming back down here, the Raiders game, those should be games that the Saints should win. We said should, but you never know with the black and gold, especially the current black and gold. They don't always do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. And that's been the maddening part about it. So yes, indeed. Some of the family members saying Black Major said they got the. Let me see if I can find the right button here, man. With the, there it is. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, that's what it is, man. They got a show. They got a show. And anyway, let's move on to the next item right here, man. I got 3 items I wanted to go over with you. The last one, this is somebody sent me this. I forgot. I forgot who it was. Sent me a link to this video here about Scott Channel, a former linebacker of the Saints. He had an interview on Bobby Hebert's show, and pretty much what they were saying on Bobby Abear's show is, they were talking about is Carr, is people being too hard on Carr, or the Saints and the Who Dat Nation being too hard on Carr. Now listen, I've been a member of the Who Dat Nation for a long time. A long time. I know a lot of Who Dats out there. Like I said, we've been doing this for a while. I talk to a lot of people. And the majority, I got to be fair, the majority of the Who Dat people that I know, that I talk to, are pretty intelligent. They're pretty respectable. They know what they're talking about, and they're well-rounded people. They're meaning they're well-rounded, not in just sports, but in entertainment, in life, and majority of them are successful in what they do. So with that being said, when they talk about the Saints, they don't talk about it like somebody ain't got no sense. They're very commonsensical. They're grounded in the history of the team. They understand what the team did last year. They don't believe everything that the propaganda mills who operate with the team do when they don't criticize the team, and they try to get you to go along because they get paid to get you to go along, if you get what I'm telling you. But in the end, they always tip their hand one way or other. And when you think about that, and when you put everything together, that's why the Great Saint Think Tank is so effective in what they're saying, because they're highly intelligent people, big time. So when you hear all the Who Dats hear this, they're not saying they don't like Derek Carr just because his name is Derek Carr. You got to be doing something to not be liked, for people not to like you. So we're not going to play this guessing game of why everybody don't like this guy, why everybody don't. No. Reason why people don't like you is because you're doing something that's making you unlikable. It's just what it is, man. And people seem to forget that. But thank the Most High that we have platforms that can remind the people and be able to kind of put that extra game out there. But anyway, let's listen to this piece right here, fam. And this will be the last thing I go over with. And y'all feel free to chime in the chat. Here we go. Put one in the chat if y'all can hear.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. So when you're playing, that's kind of the way you look at it. But, when you play in the Dome, the one thing you're going to do is you're going to see, are we going to Lambeau? Are we going to New York? Are we going to those places in December? We're going to play any snow games. What are the elements going to be like? Early on in the year, you're seeing, do I go to Tampa Bay? Is it going to be 120 degrees? You're kind of looking at those weather games when you play in a dome and how the elements will affect you. And then obviously you're looking to see how the NFC South breaks down, how you're playing your divisional opponents. I think those are the most important things.
And, Scott, it's like you almost have to take the mentality or have a chip on your shoulder. It's like, they're going to be the same old Saints. They're going to be hovering around 500, 8-9, 9-8. How about you prove it differently? I mean, the fans aren't optimistic. Well, make them optimistic. I remember how magical it was just the Saints never having a winning season. And all of a sudden, they never won 9 games. Okay, you look at the great Archie Manning. They never won more than 8 games. All of a sudden, in 1987, won 9 games in a row. And then the adversity with the strike and all that. We only played in 15 games. We ended up finishing 12-3. No one thought we would do anything before that year. So that's when, as a player, you can control, and you have to almost take pride in your craft. And that if you have an opportunity, well, if the fans aren't optimistic, we'll make them optimistic. Like, I don't know, Derek Carr, what he's going to do, and Dennis Allen, all. Well, that's a challenge for them, because the fans are going to show up if you win, and you are going to show up even if you don't win. But if you truly want them to be in that number, and to be excited about the season, well, you control that as a player, and that's where you got to take pride. And that, listen, you're highly compensated, and listen, I'm all for money, but then it goes more than that, because once you play, it doesn't matter what you make and how you're competing, and have a little pride to bring back truly when you were a part of, and Sean Payton and Drew Brees, how the expectations were. I just hope we get back to the playoffs, or can we get the double-digit wins? It was like, no, can we represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? I think that once you achieve that, and you were part of that and winning a Super Bowl and all that, you can't go backwards. That's why, fans say, oh, I'm ready to put the bags on the head. No, them days are over.
Yeah, please stop that.
Once you have winning seasons and you're a champion. No.
No. See, I was agreeing with everything he said up until that point. First and foremost, history lesson. The bags came out because the team wasn't listening to the family base. The bags was an attempt to demean the team because the people were telling them that they didn't like the direction of the team. They were ignoring the family base. The bags came out to demean them because it wasn't just the bags. They had signs and every damn thing coming out, riding on the team. And they do what most of them do when they go through certain points. They want to tend to ignore the support base, what doesn't bode well for you. The ain'ts and the bags came out because it was an attempt to get the organization to understand that they wasn't playing no games, that you wasn't going to come here and get all of this money and get all these resources and mislead and misdirect and misrepresent the support base. It's not going to happen. And the goddamn bags will come back out if you don't win. So stop telling the people, stop doing that, please. No, shut the hell up with that. They're doing it because the reason is tell the damn team to represent the support base better. The bags won't come out. Don't hold a coach that's supposed to be fired. And we know the guy is supposed to be fired. Stop doing that. Tell the team to stop doing that shit. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, we just got to keep it moving. And it's just weird, man. I got to give credit what credit due. I do. But you don't even open up your goddamn mouth to criticize the support base of the Who Dat Nation. They're not stupid. They bring the goddamn bags out because they understand. They're trying to tell the team something. The team doing what it was doing when the bags came out the first time around. They back doing it. So go discipline them before you tell them people anything. Let's keep it trucking.
Oh, that you're capable of doing that, so you could be frustrated.
And damn, if you reach the championship level, how long has it been since the Saints won a championship, man? It's truth telling time, man. Go discipline the team and tell them get their stuff straight. Go tell Mickey Loomis to do evaluations during the season. Go tell Mickey Loomis to check himself. Go tell Dennis Lucia to do evaluations on Mickey Loomis. Go tell Dennis Lucia to take the general manager job away from Mickey Loomis because he old and give it to Kai Hartley, another upcoming general manager who has more than enough resume to do the job effectively. It's been, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been so long that I forgot the year in which when the Saints won the Super Bowl. They've been hanging their hat on that shit for years now. They hadn't even come close to it. So in the end, don't open your mouth to say anything about the support base because the support base do what it does. It supports the team, even when the team don't deserve the support. It doesn't deserve it. They still support the team. And I know it because I seen them do it. I did it. That's why I ain't doing it no more until they do like the song we say do. Show me. Thank you. OG said 15 years. 14 or 15 damn years that we seen that. That is absolutely awful and horrible. It's been that long. It's been that damn long since the Saints won the Super Bowl 15 years ago, 14, 15 years ago, still hanging their hat on that. So yes, indeed. It'll be, the bag's going to come back. It's been 15 years. You ain't win no championship since then. And the type of moves the Saints they making right now, does it have a championship-esque feel to it? Does it? It doesn't, fam. Here we go.
But you should never have that loser mentality and put bags on your head.
No, we are far away from anybody feeling like those days are remotely close. I get
who these people talking to, man. Who y'all talking to? How y'all have radio shows and call yourselves former players? Who the fuck are y'all talking to, man? For real. Who y'all talking to? They got people out there that really feel like that, man. The Saints are not emitting a feeling of confidence. You don't blame the support base because they're not feeling confidence from you and you're not admitting it. Who are you talking to? I mean, these people are amazing, man. Amazingly out of touch. They got people out there that don't believe the Saints gonna do nothing, and they within their damn right to. Like, I just hit the damn button. This what it means. This is what they want to know. That's where they at. They on show me level. You know why? Because you haven't given them anything. They've been playing around, acting crazy for a very long time. It's what it's been. They're in show me stage right now. It's easy to go at the support base and try to ridicule them or bully them into believing into the Saints when we're not doing that, man. We're not playing them cornball games no more. We did that for years. No, you're going to do what you're supposed to do, which is you're going to make the correct moves and you're going to earn your respect again. You're going to earn it again. That's where I'm coming from. That's where world I come from, where you don't have a media apparatus that's getting paid by the team to sit up here and bully you into believing in the team. Oh, you don't like the Saints because you ain't a diehard. No, you're a dumbass if you try that. Don't let them play that bully, weak ass peer pressure game on you. Don't let them do that. You make these people prove themselves, fam. Make them prove it. Make them earn it. Make them earn it. That's how the real world works. Business people in the business, and these propagandists want you to believe it, but it works one way for them and not for you. With anything in life, you have to earn. You got to earn it. Unless you out there going to take it the wrong way, you're going to lose it. You got to earn it. Thank you, Shrine. Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you for the super chat, man. It is ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's fine. And like I said, man, I'm gonna give a shout out to the mighty entire the Who Dat Nation, the Great Saint Think Tank, the entire Who Dat Nation, the entire Who Dat community. My boys Randolph and Hoodie and Teal with the Nola Bros and all the family members, Derek and Strike 7, everybody, man. Because, for all those brothers and sisters that got shows covering the community, that's keeping it real and keeping the message honest for the Who Dat Nation. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Because this is a constant thing, man. Just counteracting the propaganda these people coming with, bro. But back in the day, there was none of this. There was none of this. You had to take what they say and then call up there and try to check them, and they just cut you off or not let you on. It's a new day and time with narratives. You can't control the narratives no more, and they can't stand that, brothers and sisters. I tell you that straight up. Let's finish this up. Where these people come from with this?
It's a frustration. I think, when you look at obviously the success we had, and then those years from 2016, 2017 through 2020, probably could have won a Super Bowl or two in between there.
Right.
The fans' expectations when you win 9 games and you miss out on the playoffs, everybody wants to always blow everything up. And there will be change. That's just the way it is. In the NFL, there's going to be different coaches, there's going to be different players. But here's the one thing, and I try to tell Saints fans this all the time. The Saints organization is one of the most functional organizations in pro football. It is no longer one of those dysfunctional organizations that free agents don't want to go to, that college kids hate getting coaches through 2020. Probably could have won a Super Bowl or two in between there.
Right. The
fans' expectations when you win 9 games and you miss out on the playoffs, everybody wants to always blow everything up. And there will be change. That's just the way it is.
Ain't nobody talking about blowing nothing up at no 9 games. Nobody's saying that. Or just blow it on up. I'm not saying that. Nobody's saying that. You got an older team. We know the team built on older players. There's not nobody saying blow the team up after 9 wins. They're saying get rid of the coaches, what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Always running around. They're not saying blow the team up. They just want a competent coach that makes the calls when they're supposed to and not let the offense fail the whole year without going over there changing up nothing. Can't dispute that shit, huh? Why we can't hear any of that? Why is that never the narrative to hear why the Saints offense failed? Well, because Pete Carmichael, that would be, hey, man, I'm gonna tell you, that was Pete Carmichael stanking it up over there. No, it wasn't just Pete Carmichael stanking it up, man. That wasn't what all that happened. Dennis Allen picked Pete Carmichael to be his offensive coordinator. He let him twist and burn on the stake. He didn't go over there and correct anything, despite the fact that Who Dat Nation kept saying, hey, bro, You need to change this around. You need to do this. You need to do that. He did nothing. He did nothing. He just stayed doing what he did. He kept making excuses. He did nothing to change the offense around. He didn't demote Pete Carmichael and put Ronald Curry in as the play caller. He didn't demote Marone as the offensive line coach because the offensive line was stinking for most of the year and put Jari Evans in control. He had all of that power, said he was going to change, didn't change anything. And then at the end of the year, when everything fell apart, then they come back around and say, hey, I'm pissed. And we were one game away. No, it don't work like that, player. We're not going to let you spin narratives like we're not going to be able to break down a week. These are weak narratives, too. They don't have any strength to these narratives that they're talking about. Nothing that they're talking about has any true strength. It's all spent in protection and in complement of team narrative. It's the excuse matrix that they come up with every year. It's an excuse matrix of why the Saints fail. You see, you know, they're the Saints, the most competent team out there, dude. They're not they're the most competent team out there, and people want to come to the Saints. Saints can't afford nobody. That was a bad signing of Derek Carr, $150 million contract. They couldn't afford that. You know, they couldn't do that. They couldn't afford that. And they were late to the party making adjustments and changes during the season when you can't do that. Then you couple that with the fact that you got a 20-something year or 30, however long Mickey Loomis being here, sitting up there telling you he's not doing in-season evaluations because he's too emotional. How's that play? Why aren't you talking about that shit? It's the excuse matrix, man. That's what they are. They spend the excuse matrix, man.
In the NFL, there's going to be different coaches, there's going to be different players. But here's the one thing, and I try to tell Saints fans this all the time. The Saints organization is one of the most functional organizations in pro football. It is no longer one of those dysfunctional organizations that free agents don't want to go to, that college kids hate getting drafted to. It is one of those places that when they show up and they go in the locker room, they're like, man, this is a family environment. I love it here. And that's, I take pride in that because that wasn't the way it was before 2006. So I think there's a lot of pride that Saints fans should have, even though the wins haven't been adding up. The playoff wins haven't been there. We haven't been back to a Super Bowl, but you have a functional organization, and there are not many of those in the NFL. So you have to have hope just based on that alone.
How is it functional, Shanley, or whatever, Shanley, whatever it is, Shanley? How is it functional when the Saints missing the playoffs for 3 straight years? How is it functional? Functional how? Define functionality to you. Define functionality, bro. The team hasn't been in the playoffs for 3 years, and it's because of self-inflicted issues. You got draft picks and players running to get to the Saints? Not so much. I asked Marshawn Lattimore that. He's rushing to get the hell out of here. It's people in here. It's a fractured team, and people know it. Players talk to each other. They know. No top 5 cornerback that was born up in here that's a dedicated, diehard person like Marshawn Lattimore will be requesting a trade to get out of here because he don't feel confident in the leadership of the team. But do they talk about that? They don't talk about that either. They just lie about it. Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen said when asked about it during the press, and shout out to those press reporters that covered it, like Nick Underhill and Mike Triplett and Cat Terrell. They said that they talked about fractures in the locker room. They even talked to a few of the people, and they couldn't divulge and put the information out there, but they did admit to it being fractures in the locker room. They talked about that. Well, guess what ended up happening? What ultimately ended up happening is Loomis and Dennis Allen came out and said there are no fractures in the locker room, and these things just don't exist. There are no fractures in the locker room. Well, in Mickey's cadence, there are no fractures. Well, that's just, you guys are just making that up. That's just something somebody made up. That's some old made up gobbledygook. That doesn't exist. That's up there with the Sasquatch monster and aliens and Bigfoot. You guys are in the fairy tales, that's something like Disney would make up. It doesn't exist. And then Marshawn Lattimore sitting up here mad at, not believing in the coach. And they set up his contract late last year to get him traded. It's just, why are we not talking about that, Shanley? Because these people are programmed and paid to spin narratives one way. And that's what we here for, to keep it real. and tell the truth. The team has issues, and until we face down the issues and tell the truth, the team won't get well. Lying and doing misdirection and covering up for the team imposed or what they're doing, their mistakes, and without fixing their mistakes won't end well for anybody. And for people trying to stand in front of the team to protect them makes them look disingenuous, and they lose credibility for doing that. And we see what the fuck you doing, just to call you out. Shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate you. I apologize for that. This is fairy tales. This is gobbledygook. This is terrible. I just despise it because it's an insult to your intelligence. The great Saint Think Tank don't play these games. They don't play. Thank you, Rich. You said who thinks DA is a Super Bowl coach? Mic drop. I don't. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Here we go.
Scott, one of the things we see so differently today in the NFL is, man, I remember first scouting and the linebacker bills that you were looking at, they all look to me like what would be playing defensive ends today. Now I look at the linebackers, and most of them today, they look like strong, bigger, strong safeties playing linebacker. And how the game has changed, and now the base defense is not with the three linebackers anymore. There's a lot of this kind of mixing and matching in the big nickel player, and like what Chauncey Johnson played with the Saints, and having an extra safety or an extra corner out on the field. For guys playing that linebacker position, that has changed probably more than any other spot on the football field today. The look of the linebackers today and how they're used.
Yeah, there's no question. You have to be able to play all three downs. You have to be a guy who some linebackers can blitz, some guys can cover, but you have to find a way, because really the league has become a 4-2-5. It's really a nickel-based defense anymore. You know, back when I played, especially early on in my career, it was a 4-3 defense. It was a 3-4. You were running those base personnel. Now, heck, the Sam linebacker is almost like the fullback or tight end on offense. He plays sparingly based on what the offense is doing. In some offenses, you look at like San Francisco, they have a big advantage because they put a fullback on the field. Now the Sam linebacker has to play more than he's played all year. So it is, you're right. That position has changed a lot. And when I was working with guys, getting them ready for the combine, it was always, we worked on fundamentals as far as covering running backs, covering tight ends, playing in space. Because if you can't play in space against some of these amazing athletes like the Camaras of the world and the tight ends you have to cover, it will be not for long. You don't get to play special teams very long in the NFL anymore because they're changing special teams. You have to be able to play a position when you talk about only 50 plus roster spots and then 46 on game day. You're not dressing many people. So you have to be able to run at that position and stay on the field.
Call from mom. Answer it.
All right.
Call silent.
Missing a minute. Some hack it
to their own ear and
okay. If you were the assault, Giants, I don't know, Commanders, Raiders, you got to beat those kind of teams. But I'm looking at the Saints close the season 4-2, and Derek Carr was playing his best football. Now you got to transfer that now to September, the beginning of the year. Do you know he completed 74.5, not 71, 72, 74.5% of his passes in that stretch in 6 games? That was number 1 in the NFL. Okay.
Yep.
And if you look at it, he had 15 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Well, hell yeah. If he does that, that's going to give us a chance, even though you play in the likes of at the 49ers. And well, I'm saying at the 49ers. No, that's the preseason game. When you're playing like the Eagles at home or at Kansas City, or you just go throughout like the Panthers. Yeah, he didn't have to have an unbelievable game, but even at Dallas, the Eagles at home, then you got the Falcons or whatever, that's and the Chiefs. So just looking, I think this is the season, and you look at Derek Carr and where you're at as a quarterback in your career, that how you finished the season, the last 6 games, man, that's amongst the best in the whole league. Well, that's what we need come this September from Derek Carr.
Yeah, there's no question. And you said some of the fan base is 50-50. I don't even know if it's that high, and I think it should be. It should be more, because I was just going to rattle off the stats you did. Derek really finished the season great. Now, my thing with Derek is I was excited about the acquisition. I thought he was kind of the missing piece of the puzzle. I thought we'd win the AFC South. He was banged up, didn't play well. I was a little down on some of the leadership things, maybe some of the things he said after the games, as far as taking the responsibility and not. And then he finished the season extremely strong and looked really good and looked like the Derek Carr that everybody kind of thought we were getting. Now, the only thing I ask of the fans is, if you're going to criticize, you got to give him credit. And I don't feel like people gave him enough credit at the end of the year for the way he played because there was tons of criticism. I still listen to it now. We draft a guy in the 5th round and everybody wants him to be the starter. I'm like, listen, there's a reason.
You've heard it. You've heard it.
Yes. I mean, it is so strong that I'm like, okay, maybe if Spencer Rattler becomes a starting quarterback for the Saints someday, heck yeah, that's a dynamite pick. It's not going to happen year one. People need to pump their brakes a little bit because Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. Spencer Rattler's got a long ways to go in terms of becoming a starter in the NFL. But can he do it? I don't know. Time will tell. But I think fans need to realize we have one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Is he Drew Brees? No. Not many guys are going to be Drew Brees. But he is a good enough quarterback to win the NFC South, get in the playoffs. And with this defense, heck, DeMario, Father Time keeps trying to knock at DeMario's door. He doesn't let it happen. He keeps playing this way. And you look at all the defensive backs we have. If we can get the things right in the offensive line and defensive line and control line of scrimmage, this team can win the NFC South.
Well, and Scott.
These people, unbelievable. Give them credit. This dude, what does this guy do? Does he work for the Saints? Does this guy work for the Saints? Does he work for the Saints? What does this Chanelay dude do? Is he in there mopping the floor for the? What does he do for the Saints? What does he do? What is he doing? Is he got to be some kind of way attached to the Saints? First and foremost, Derek Carr was benefited by a strong running game toward the back. It's people just unbelievably, they can't be that ignorant, that corrupt or foolish. They spinning these narratives to create a certain look, to try to make somebody look better than when they actually have. It wasn't just him out there all of a sudden figuring out how the system worked. The Saints played better as a collective toward the back end. They started to actually run the football. He benefited by a stronger running attack, stronger offensive line play. He started to work the play action toward the back end of the year. What are these people talking about, man? Do they even watch these games? They're going to pull out, well, he was the best quarterback in 6 games. And why we still didn't get the playoff then, Abel? Man, these people just sit up there and just spin these protective narratives for the Saints. They just sit up there and kiss Saints ass all damn day. Weak ass criticism, but at the same time, give Derek Carr credit. Derek Carr played better because the offensive line, the team offensively played better. The Saints ran the football better. He got into the play action, and it helped him because the Saints wasn't utilizing they weren't running the ball effectively, and they were misplacing trust in Derek Carr early in the season when he did not know the full offensive play. He didn't know the offensive skill. He didn't know the sets totally where he could run them competently. And you know this because you can go back in your recollection and remember at least 4 to 5 times a game, Derek Carr and his wide receivers would not be on the same page. He would throw the ball on the out, the guy was cutting in. He would put the ball on the out route, the guy would stop on the comeback route. All this kind of other stuff was going on, and he was in constant conversation on the field, telling his wide receivers where they were supposed to go and where they went. It was constant going on between wide receivers, tight ends, and Derek Carr, missing each other at least 4 to 5 times a game. They wasn't on the same page. And this happened for the first several months of the season, well into like 8 months of the season, where the Saints would have the same stuff, where they wasn't on the same page. Toward the back end of the year, and we know Derek Carr got hurt during that period of time. And my thing is he shouldn't have played. They had him pumped up on painkillers. His eyes was bucking and he was out of his mind. That boy didn't even know what planet he was on out there toe up. They're talking about he got healthier toward the back end of the year. He didn't get healthier toward the back end of the year. When the year was over with, he said that he couldn't do anything for 2 months after the season was over with. He couldn't do anything for 2 months. That's what he said in the interview with Tom's Picayune. We covered it on the show. And they asked him, how could he have done what he done during the season? He said it was the miracle of chemistry or something like that, which means they was pumping him for painkillers, shooting him up with the dope to make him not feel any pain. It was shooting the man up, which is totally unhealthy and unwise to do Derek Carr. I was actually pissed with the Saints for doing him that. It's not like, because you're trying to create something. They're trying to justify the $150 million and forcing them. Derek Carr was hurt badly last year. He shouldn't have played. And pumping him up with dope for the entire season, and then after the year over with, 2 months after the season ended, he said he couldn't do anything because he had to heal from the injuries that he sustained. During the offseason, he wasn't getting the good dope. They break out the needles and all that shit during the season, and you could see he wasn't right. His eyes was bucking. Remember that? His eyes was bucking out, and I was looking, I was like, man, this dude shot up on painkillers. He probably don't even know what fucking planet he's on, man. It's just amazing, man. But you don't hear none of that. That's why it's a difference, fam. It's an obvious difference. Please hear the difference between bullshit and fact. And I had to hit Glenn on him because he started going off on some bullshit. And I'm like, dude, did you get elected to be these people reps? You're supposed to be telling the people the truth. You're not supposed to sit up here and spin narratives for them because they gave you a paycheck. You're supposed to be the people who are actually paying you to play was the supporters. The Saints get the money from the supporters to pay you. That's where they get it from. They're not printing it in there. I hope they're not printing it in the building, up in the price. But they get it from the supporters to give it to you. Your first loyalty should be to telling the people the truth. And that Derek Carr didn't do all that stuff by himself. He played better, yes, he did, but it was in league with everything else the Saints was doing. The running attack and everything else, the offensive line, all of that played better. And that is the truth. That is the truth. So I can't go on. I'm gonna just stop it right there, man. The BS is ridiculous. Okay, Hakeem, what's up, Hakeem? How you doing, my brother? He says, Chanelay formerly, yeah, he works for this. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. I was like, yeah, that sounds just like a kiss ass, a butt kisser. You know, they was the most functioning Saints are the most functioning or one of the most functioning organizations in the league. And what you mean by benefiting because they're making money? How functioning are they? A football team that got a stacked team every year and they can't get to the playoffs? Oh, that's real functioning. What's your definition of functionality? Man, get the hell out of here with that bull, man. I be losing these disrespect. Tell the truth, man. Tell the truth and shame the devil. There's too much lying and misdirection and bullshit going on right now anyway. Stop lying and tell the people the truth about what's going on with these people. Stop trying to protect these people and they dead wrong with what they're doing. Tell them to hire better coaches. Get an actual leader as a head coach and stop running the good old boys circle over there. Actually bring more basketball brains into the organization at the executive level. Reformat or reorganize the organizations, which is the Saints and the Pelicans. Take Dennis Lucia and turn him into a chief operation officer because he's the top businessman. He handles the business affairs. He don't know nothing about no football. And bring in football people, at least 2 people up at the top to be along with Mickey Loomis and take the general manager job away from him and give it to Kai Hartley. Bring more people into the team at the highest level that can have an organizational meeting so it don't be a football cult going on, because that's what's going on. I was on the Pelican postgame report the other night, and I called the Pelicans a basketball cult because you got a bunch of people running around. David was Griffin running around talking about, we got good humans. They're good human beings, and then they're getting their teeth stumped in the playoffs by OKC. We don't want choir boys, and we want people that's good people at the same time. They got some meanness and some toughness to them. Those are called warriors, by the way. We don't need a bunch of choir boys. We don't need people that's in a constant agreement with each other about the direction of the team. Yeah, y'all making money because you have an extremely patient support base, but that doesn't run its course. You done abuse the hell out of that. They done abuse the hell out of that, and we ain't going for that no more. That's it, man. You think you gonna get what you got from us? That's a done deal. We're not doing that anymore. That's over with. All right, Uncle Paula says, Q, remember they did the same thing to Drew Brees when he cracked 6 ribs, and they did the same thing to Derek Carr. That's why both Brees and Carr played and looked so bad playing hurt. Yeah, I remember what happened when they yeah, I remember, man. Yeah, I just don't like what they did, Derek Carr. They didn't have to do that. They had backups that they could have went to that could have given them the same damn to the same output, if not better. You didn't have to do that. Told him if he ain't healthy enough to play, sit the man down. His health means more than them putting through him and pumping him up with painkillers. His eyes bucking out of his head. He don't know what damn planet he on. Philip says, I believe in keeping it real, but I also believe in supporting my team. Sounds like we shouldn't have the team to walk out on the field. No, it's not about that, bro. You got to understand, man, that it's people at times, like right now, nobody's perfect. But if you got issues with the team, and these are really valid issues, by the way, and then you got people spinning narratives away from what the issues are, there's going to be a split down the middle. You can't get away from the disgruntlement. They got players that's disgruntled in the team because the team ain't winning. You got a disgruntled family base that's mad about the Saints not winning because the Saints they tell too many lies and make too many excuses. That's the problem. Stop lying and stop making excuses. Stop keeping people that's not credible and get rid of some of these people. Get rid of some of these people that's not winning anything. Get them out of here. That's what they need to do. Change things up at the highest level. It's too many people like Gail that don't know enough about football, or Dennis Lucia that don't know a lot, over relying on Mickey Loomis, and he been here for years. I think the game done passed him by in many regards. And he admitting that he don't do no evaluations. He talk like he's an elitist when he's not. He's just a worker, and he criticizing the people for criticizing that the Saints ain't being productive. They're not making the play. What kind of bullshit is that? You can't talk shit to the supporters when they dead wrong. They're not saying anything that's wrong about the team. You don't fix your mouth to go at the support base when you're failing. You're failing, not me. We're talking about you failing because you have not gotten this team in the playoffs for 3 years while spinning a bunch of narratives and making excuses. Enough. And then you get people to try to bully you back into believing in the Saints. Believe in the Saints. No, we ain't believing in nothing you talking about. You've proven yourself to be irresponsible. You've proven yourself to be untrustworthy. You're going to have to earn your way back to the support base. You're going to have to earn your way back to it. You have to earn it. That, in other words, that's a bad relationship. When you putting your all into something this other person ain't doing. They're not giving you what you giving them. That's a bad relationship, fam. And we don't have no time for no bad relationships. I'm going to keep it $1.15 with you on that. It's crazy, man. All right, Brother Phillips said that's for sure, but I believe defense wins championships. Yeah, I like the defense, but bro, at the end of the day, we talking about man, the Saints have the talent. This is every year. Almost like we live in somewhat of like a Groundhog Day or something. We living like in Groundhog Day. It's really weird. It's really weird. It's like Groundhog Day. Like you see something, you see it happen. It's like They Live, like with Roddy Piper. Y'all remember that corny movie They Live when he had the glasses and he seen the alien people. Nobody else could see him without the glasses. It's weird because like you put the glasses on, you see things, and then people be like, yeah, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, fam, we're not going to be able to get into winning unless we fix this, because that's why we're not winning. A lot of it don't have nothing to do with play on the field. It has to do with the leadership above the team, because when stuff really get hairy, what does the head coach do? Is he if the offense struggles with Clint Kubiak, because it's going to struggle at some point, does he go over there and say, hey, man, do you need something? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Like he did? Well, previous history says he doesn't do it. He just leave him alone. Doesn't, and that's not going to work. You need to get over there and see what you can do to make it functional. And that's what Mickey Loomis needs to do with Dennis Allen. He needs to peek over his shoulder and make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. They're not doing none of that, fam. That's why the team is losing. You don't adjust when you're supposed to, you're gonna lose. And there are other teams out there that are doing that and that are beating the Saints. So a lot of times we got a lot of talent, but at the same time, the Saints got real deep issues that they lying about, that they don't want to address, and that's a problem. Brandon Davis said, "What's up, bro?" Says Q. Mark my word. Remember something about Gail and the GM going to come out really soon. Remember, I said, "Okay, brother, I'm gonna remember that." I got you, brother. Hakeem says the super domestic next season will be like SoFi Stadium when the Chargers play games. There will be the fans from the other teams outnumbering the home teams. Indeed, bro. He says Dennis Allen is 24-46 as a head coach in the NFL. Indeed, bro. Where's the history there? All right, thank you, there, Hakeem. Brandon says Gail and Mickey about to be okay. All right, brother Brandon. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember that. But like I said, fam, listen, man. To all these people out here, and this is a lot. Shout out to the Saints News Network. Shout out to Nick Underhill, Mike Triplett, Cat Terrell, Rod. What's Rod's name? Rod Walker, I think his last name is. I'm not certain. If I messed it up, Rod, my bad, bro. But shout out to them guys, because those guys, they be doing it, man. They be telling the truth as best they can. They really do. They be giving you the real. They be trying to do it in a way where they don't get hammed up. You know what I'm saying? They try to do it. They try to keep it as real as they possibly can. But these other guys running around here making these excuses for the Saints, talking about their functioning organization when they hadn't gotten in playoffs in 3 years. They're a functioning organization when people, some of the best players, are, like a Lattimore he lost faith in the team and wants to be traded. Functioning organization when Mickey Loomis doesn't even do his job as a general manager during the year, doesn't talk to any players, doesn't do in-season evaluations. I keep saying that because that's so ridiculous, man, in his face. But that's a functioning organization, pal. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. And these radio show hosts from WWE, they're some of the worst. Mike Hoss is another one of these dudes that just kiss ass all the time. It's just sad, man. We got a whole, that's why there's so many prevalent voices out there keeping it real. Just continue to tell the truth, family. Continue to tell the truth, man. That's what we got. Mr. O, what's how you doing, fam? Says here to support Big Q. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, Mr. O. Thank you for being here. Brother Slim says the only way they listen to save the money. Yeah, indeed. It's a money grab, and we know it's a money grab. But we're gonna turn that spigot off, man. We're not going for the believe in the Saints nonsense no more, because if you have a credible person on top of the team that's really serious about winning, you got a team that got champion head coaches, that's young coaches. Like, you got all these coaches out here, like McVay and all these other dudes that with the Rams and all that. You had all these really good coaches that was in the last hire, and the Saints set up there with Dennis Allen. Well, they get what they deserve. Now he talking about if he could just do, A-Bear talking about if he could just do what he did at the back of the end last year and do it this year, we might be having something. Guess what, bro? He got to learn a whole new system again. Guess what? He got to learn a whole new system again. And the key, and like I said about Derek Carr, Carr is not the key. The Saints running attack is the key. It ain't Derek Carr. Like I said, a lot of people don't like Derek Carr. I don't really have a problem with Derek Carr, at times. Like, if he don't be lying and pointing and blaming people. See, that's not a leader either. You can't be playing. You have to take the blame. You got the $150 million. You got to take the blame if you're the quarterback. You're going to take the blame, and that's how it go. Don't play quarterback. Don't do it if you don't like it. But you can't be pointing your fingers and blaming people. You can't not be the first one in and the last one to leave the building. You can't be making all these excuses and talking, because people see right through that. And New Orleans is really not the city. I don't know how the Raider people are, but in New Orleans, we really not the one to come with all that talking with, because we don't want to hear all that talking, bro. We are more interested in wins. And if you lose, it's not because you didn't give a full out effort. You see, that's what I'm talking about. All right. Pelican says, shout out to you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you, fam. Much love. Tuck says, functional organization like checking the organs in the body. Indeed. All right, Philip says, did Lattimore lose faith or is he no? Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, Philip. You know, he Laddie Daddy lost faith in the Saints. That's what happened. That's what happened. He lost faith in the Saints, and that happened. He was one of these quote unquote fractured players, you know, that didn't exist. They still got him on the team, by the way. Hakeem, what's up, bro? Says Underhill, Triplet, Cat Terrell, Rod are probably the most effective. Yeah, bro, indeed. Yeah, you know, yeah, them guys do their job, man. That's why I always give them a shout out and I support their work. And don't forget to throw Saints News Network in there with brother Kyle T. Mosley and over there. He doing the good stuff. You know, he doing it right too. So there's a lot of really good people out there putting in that work. I always like to give people a shout out because they really appreciate that, man. When you recognize their work, because that it's like extra motivation to keep doing what they're doing, because we don't want them not to do that. So we want to support them in their work and encourage them to keep doing what they're doing, because we don't want them to not do that. And it goes to it all being all about protecting and covering the Saints like them other people doing. You know, let's be honest. All right, Tuck says Kubiak's the guy who made Brock Purdy a star, right? Mm-hmm. Philip says Carr has a skill, but not the mentality. Indeed. That's why I say it's not about Carr. Not to me. It's about the Saints running attack. If we can get that going, fam, we'll be fine. And like I said, and I sit up here and they spent that narrative and talked about Derek Carr with all them statistics, and he completed such and such amount of passes in the last 5 to 6 games of the season. And I'm sitting up there replaying those games in my mind while they talk. And I'm like, man, that was because the Saints offense played better because they were blocking better and they were actually running the ball and getting into the play action, which is what I was saying at the start of the season, is that we need to get the play action, the running game going so we can get into play action. That gives Carr the ability to do what he's really good at, which is taking a shot, throwing the deep ball. Carr is a gunslinger. His best pass is the deep ball throw. He loves throwing the deep ball. And the best way you can get get that ball down deep is get that running attack going. And that safety has to come down and support and run support. And that gives you one-on-one matchups with your wide receivers. That's favorable for the Saints. That gives a gunslinger like Carr an opportunity to get that ball out there in one-on-one. And Chris Olave will tap it to himself or run up under it, or Rashid Shaheed, they'll get downfield and make plays. That plays right into his nature. And when you start seeing him run the ball and getting the play action going, you've seen Carr thrived because he was complementing the running attack. He was off the back of the running attack. They set up here and spin that narrative like he was doing all that shit by himself. Like it was just him, that he was the option one run. I'm like, no. No, that's not what happened. All right, brother. I keep saying, I wonder if Ty Grace is interested on his Saints $7 billion and only raising Canes. Yeah. Hopefully he don't, put that Canes in that Superdome, bro. It's gonna be $20 for, well, they kind of high anyway. YO says, well, salute to you too, YO. Appreciate you, bro. He says, I hope Clint got some nice plays drawn up for Taysom. Indeed, I'll be interested to see what his role is in that system. Dre says all the talking and the way Carr handled the lobby is why he's not liked in NOLA. Indeed, that's one of them, Dre. That's one of them. When he was talking, how he was handling him, the back and forths with Michael Thomas and other things as well. Like he was making all these excuses during the year and talking all this, and they were protecting him. And then you looking at the all 22, and he's staring down one side of the field. Guys are running one-on-one or wide open on the opposite side of the field. He never looks in that direction. And people's like, dude, the whole year was, can you stop staring down one side of the field? Because you're not supposed to do that as a professional NFL quarterback. You're not supposed to stare down one side of the field. Why? Because you selling the route to your safeties and people over there staring at your goddamn eyes, fool. So wherever your eyes are, they're going to go, because they know most of the time if you're looking over there, the ball going to go in that direction. So you're not supposed to stare down people. You're supposed to look, scan the field, and even if you're going to go that way, pump fake the opposite way and go to the way you want. But don't sit up there and stare down the field and then throw in that direction. And this dude was doing this a lot last year. And that's why a lot of times the wide receivers was upset and pissed off, because they running these routes full speed. He ain't even looking in a direction. He wasn't even going through his progressions. And I'm telling you that's the truth because I sat up there with proof on it and did the research on all 22 on Patreon. We covered all the games. And I covered more than several times a game. He was staring down one side of the field, but he did not one time did he say during the year that, you know what, y'all, I need to stop staring down half the field. So before these chumps get up here and run their goddamn mouth about Derek Carr not being liked, that's the reason. The reason is because people don't like all of the dumb excuses that you're making, bro. They don't like that. They don't want to hear it when they know they can put the all 22 on and see what you're doing during the game, see that you're staring down the field most of the times, that you holding on to the ball in the backfield too long, that type of stuff. And it wasn't it is his fault in part, but it's the offensive coaches too, because they pretend like they don't see it. See, they all doing pretend games, and we like, why they keep doing the same thing every week? It's just pretend games. We're gonna sit up here and pretend like everybody's being wrong to Derek Carr. Nobody's being wrong to Derek Carr. They got a small amount of people that might not really don't like Carr because they don't see him as worth anything. But at the end of the day, I don't see Carr as a bad quarterback. I damn sure don't see him as a superstar. What I do see Carr as, if you can utilize him in the way that he's made, because I don't think he's going to be any better than what he is now. Now, what I do think is if you give him a running attack and make him a complement to it, then you can get a lot from him. But in terms of him go out there and win us a game, oh no, you better rely on your running attack. So that's how I see it. What's up, Jay Sticks Jefferson? How you doing, fam? Appreciate you. Lewis says, tell it like it is. Q, we know Carr and Allen are not dancers, but we still have fun watching next season. Look forward to the days when we have a real coach. Indeed, bro. It'll happen. If we are not telling the truth, which we know we telling the truth because we just calling out what we see. It's not hard. Just tell what you see. We ain't gonna let you sit up here and spin no narratives. At Carr, you can do this, and then it's a whole new system that Carr got to learn all over again, which means he can't be relied on like that once again early in the year. And what can be relied upon is the running attack, because you can't have a man or a lady or whatever to do something that they don't have. They have very little experience in doing. This is commonsensical. Millie Tuill says, been in the league for 10 years. CJ Stroud made a deep playoff run. Hell, Baker Mayfield has more playoff appearances than this fool. Indeed. Divine, what's up, bro? Says five. All right, Julius, Carr's average. I agree, bro. I don't think Derek Carr is going to be better than what he is now. I mean, I think the best Derek Carr, and I've been saying this a lot to nauseum, that the best thing we see from Carr, the best version of Carr we can get is play action Carr. I keep saying that. Play action Carr is the Carr that you've seen at the back of the year, the last 6 games that A-Bear talking about with these statistics. That's play action Carr with a running attack and an offensive line was blocking correctly. Play action Carr. That's who they're talking about. And that Carr, you could have seen him early in the year if the Saints wasn't trying to rely on Carr to win games for him earlier, when the running attack wasn't there consistently. And then of course the red zone issues. Don't forget that. These people just forget everything. They don't remember the red zone issues that the Saints had that was self-inflicted when they couldn't get the ball in. Remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember the red zone issues. The Saints would get down the field, couldn't get in the end zone. And it was game after game. They kept Jimmy Graham, who's a 6'7" tight end, sitting on the goddamn bench watching the game. And people was asking Dennis Allen every game, why isn't Jimmy Graham in the game? If anything, he needs to be playing in the red zone because he's a big red zone wide receiver. Why isn't Jimmy Graham in the game? Why isn't Jimmy Graham in the game? Why isn't Jimmy Graham in the game? Is he hurt? No, he's not hurt. He's just waiting for his opportunity. And it was game after game. The Saints wasn't getting into the touchdown and then ultimately they finally stuck him in there. He gets a touchdown, helps him out in the red zone, and then he disappears. Then he pops up later on the game later, and then he disappears for pretty much the rest of the season, and he wasn't hurt. Y'all remember that? Put 1 in the chat if y'all remember what I'm talking about. Put 1 in the chat if y'all remember that. Put 1 in the chat if you remember what I'm talking about. Why they not talking about that? Why they don't mention that? See, you can't talk to know who that person that know what he talking about. You can't talk to us. You can't talk to us with that foolishness, man. You can't do it. It won't work. It won't work. We remember all of that. Even when you don't want to talk about it, we remember it. We remember the inflicted red zone snafus the Saints was having. They had Jimmy Graham sitting up there waiting game after game, and he had his uniform on, staring, waiting to get in there. And Jimmy was like, "No, I'm just being a good teammate, waiting." And they severely underutilized him, brought him back here not to do nothing. And they needed help in the red zone. What was Dennis Allen on that? Why didn't Dennis Allen go over there and press Pete Carmichael to get Jimmy Graham in the game consistently? Where was he at on that? As opposed to telling you he's a good teammate, he's just sitting there waiting for his time and his number to be called. I'm telling you, man. People, you can't tell down hard who that people in the great Saint think tank anything. We don't fold to dumb, stupid, lying narratives. You know why? Because we have a memory and we know how to decipher the game. That's why I call it the Great Saint Think Tank. The Great Saint Think Tank is the smartest and most articulate, successful group of Saints people that I know. That's who they are. And it continues to grow week after week, day after day, because they don't buy into the lies and the narrative of the team. To simply be a believer without giving you any facts or evidence or any proof that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Just believe in me. We ain't got time to give our minds and hearts to you and you not doing what you're supposed to do, only to break them and let us down. We're not playing that no more. We're not doing that. We did that for years, and that is over with. You've abused it. You've lost it. We're talking truth talk now. So from this point forward, until we know better, this is the motto of the Who Dat Nation and the Great Saint Think Tank. That's right. Bust that Glen on their tail. That's what we doing, man. That's what it is. That's real deal Holyfield. We're not doing that no more. But anyway, listen, I'm gonna get ready to bop out on that, fam. Listen, yeah, we kept asking for them, Pelicans. Nola, y'all know it. I kept saying, fam, everything I'm saying is true. I'm just reminding you of what happened. But they never notice, they never say that. They never tell the truth about what really happened with the Saints and why they failed. They want to pretend like it was all about the injuries. That's why I keep telling y'all, it's all about self-inflicted wounds, self-inflicted issues the Saints were doing week after week. They had the personnel. I told y'all that. They had the personnel and didn't use it or severely underutilized them. They underutilized Elvin Kamara. They underutilized Jimmy Graham. They misused Derek Carr. He didn't know enough of the offensive system. Doug Marrone should have been demoted and taken out of his position as the offensive line coach early. Pete Carmichael should have been removed as the OC, or at least his play call and duty should have been given to Ronald Curry. None of this happened. There was no changes. They kept it all the same all the way to the end of the year, and it was too late. Saints didn't put together. They lost too many games and couldn't put it together when they needed to win it. You had games that they could have won if Jimmy Graham was in the red zone, and they pretty much left them out of there with excuses. Well, he just his time. We wait for his time, and they losing games because they can't score in the red zone. 5 and 6, 7 drives in a row, the Saints getting field goals or can't get in a touchdown. Why they never mention that? Just asking. I'm just asking, fam. This is the type of stuff we think about when we going into the new season. Like, I like Clint Kubiak because I researched Clint Kubiak. I think Clint Kubiak could work, but then again, do we have enough talent in terms of the offensive line? Because when you talk about flipping this, they're talking about totally reworking the offense of the team, and that offense they put in is a lot different than what Sean Payton was running. It involves double motion and moves, so people got to be on their game. And then you got to have big offensive linemen that can move and pull. Guys have to understand what they got going on. So early on, you can't count on Derek Carr to win games for you. You got to use your best weapon, which is the running attack. This is a new system. He don't know nothing about playing in that system. I'm pretty sure it's going to be new to him like it is to most people on the team. You got a handful of people that played in it before. But when you've been playing in a different system, you got to switch back to it. You got to learn it again, similarly to what they got going on. So it's going to require the Saints to learn and win at the same time, like the Carolina game and all these other games. We'll see how it all works. But I do like Clint, but I don't like Dennis Allen. And can Clint win despite the fact that Dennis Allen is not going to, if Clint starts struggling, what is he going to do about it? You know, stuff like that. A head coach is needed at certain intervals of time to step in and make something happen. And that's the question I have. And it's because I don't like Dennis Allen, because Dennis Allen has shown me over these years since he's been here that he ain't nothing but a weasel and a backstabber. He undermined his team, threw him under the bus, lies to players about starting time. He's a weasel. Who going to play for something like that? Who going to play for somebody? He only cares about himself. Look how he treated Carr with all these injuries. It just, man, listen, man. Bad leadership is something else, man. It's on him, man. Like like I said, bro, it takes, the coach has to get involved. It's his team. You pick these guys, and if they're struggling, you got to know to step in there and get it together. But it don't help when you got media people sitting up here lying or spinning half truths about what's happening with the team, man. That don't help us at all. It don't help us at all. We trying to get the team to see certain facts, and we don't need people standing in the way of that, lying about what's going on with the team. We don't need that, man. We don't need that at all. All right. So anyway, with that being said, fam, listen, I'm gonna get ready to cut out on that. Like I said, I didn't want to keep y'all long, man. But we about to cop out at 1 hour and 30 minutes. Really, I want to do a 1 hour stream. But man, when they start lying, start misdirecting and all that, that make me upset, man. That's an insult to your intelligence, man. When they start telling you stuff like you wasn't actually there looking at it. I'm like, man, do you know I watched that shit, right? You know, we made shows about it. I don't want to sit up there and play by play that. Fam, I play by play that. Not just me sitting up drinking a beer while I'm watching the game. I don't sit up and drink no beer when I'm watching the game. I'm on here watching it with you guys on a live stream. Remember? When we do the live watch parties, not am I only watching it, but I'm also doing the play-by-play for the game, the whole game. We do pregame, the play-by-play, halftime, the play-by-play for the second half, and then the recap, and then we out. That's a 6-hour stream. That we do every Sunday, the Saints, or whenever the Saints play. It'll be Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whenever. We do the play-by-play. Literally play-by-play the game. And I'm sitting up here watching the games, and we go over the games on Patreon and go over it in the all 22 and look at the game. So it's like, you can't really tell me nothing about this team, fam. you can't tell me nothing about this, man. I know I did. That's what I'm saying. When I looked, I know exactly what's going on with the Saints, fam. I'm telling you the God honest truth. I know exactly what's going on with these people. That's why I be hitting at certain areas. You know, the areas that are the biggest and concerning areas that need to change for the team to have success. And like, I know people from the shows listen to it, and I just keep hitting it. And hopefully they carry the message back, and the pressure mounts. And I'm trying to get the pressure to mount from the family members to force a change. Like, don't support them until they earn your support back. Just don't give it to them. And it's the same with the Pelican side of things. Same issues. We have to be able to get these people to understand this, man, because they can't see it because they making money. That's how they see it. And that's not a good thing. So you got to take the thing away they're looking at to make them understand, hey, we got to change it up because we got to get the money back. That's how it works. Unfortunate, but true. All right. So anyway, fam, I'm going to cut out on that. Listen, I appreciate you guys for chiming in on this episode of the show. I hope you guys had a fantastic Saturday, man. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I'm going to pop back up, probably not tomorrow, but Monday. We're going to do a stream on Monday. We'll be back in the building and do another stream on Monday. We'll talk more black and gold stuff. We'll also be probably doing more player profiles and stuff as we get ready to head to the rest of the off-season activities with the black and gold. And, you know, as always, please feel free to support the platform by hitting up our link tree or supporting the WhoDatDaily.com. Like I said, we have our own sports website. Shout out to the WhoDatDaily.com and the family members over years. I think the site been up for like 4 or 5 years now. We have contributors that at least, how many? 7, 8, trying to think of everybody. It's like 8 or 9 people, 7 to 8 because we just picked up a entertainment contributor. But the WhoDatDaily.com, independently ran sports site for the Who Dat Nation. Please feel free to show the support by sharing the articles. You know, we represent the mighty Who Dat Nation. We are the Who Dats, the WhoDatDaily.com. Y'all check that out. Share those articles. It helps us out. Also, feel free to share the platform articles. Check out the link tree in the description section below, merch and all that kind of stuff. You can help out the platform, become a member of the channel, all that kind of stuff. Patreon, all that helps us to keep moving in a very strong direction to keep our message and represent the Who Dat Nation to the best of our abilities, baby. We've been doing it for a long time, and we are here, and we not going to stop, baby. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. Listen, man, I appreciate all of y'all for being up in here, man. You have a wondrous and beautiful rest of y'all weekend, and I'm going to holler at you on Monday. Much love, and Who Dat to you.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoDatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoDatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the pro shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to